Welcome back. My name is Michael, and Jared Leto is a freaking chameleon when it comes to transforming for his acting roles. But in between movies is probably when he's utilizing his best health and fitness practices. And it might be perfect. Jared Leto is truly someone to admire when it comes to his practices. The guy doesn't do anything half-assed, fully committed to everything he does. Just look at his transformations from the Dallas Buyers Club and Chapter 27. I'm not sure many people are trying to look like those characters in particular, but his physique for the Joker and Morbius are quite desirable. He doesn't have to change much to prep though. His diet and nutrition routine are on point year-round, which is why he always looks freaking amazing. Here's his breakdown, whether he's just living his life or being a comic book character. And stick around to the end because the last things I'll talk about are the most important to consistent results, but most people don't realize it. Let's start with something that's probably pretty obvious. The guy doesn't skimp out on his cardio. But the biggest takeaway here is that he does cardio that he enjoys. For him, this is mostly bike rides and the elliptical. Now, when he was training for the Joker and Morbius, he added in some sparring as well. Now, if you've ever done any sort of boxing, you know that it's a killer workout. But if you want to adopt his lifestyle, just pick some cardio options that you enjoy and can keep consistent with. You don't have to do the exact same things he does to look like him. Just move and continue to try and get better. It really is that simple. Speaking of things that he does that you don't have to, but you should probably try at some point because it's freaking amazing, the guy loves rock climbing, like real rock climbing. Not that indoor stuff, but that one wrong move and your life is over kind of stuff. Rock climbing is an all-around total body workout that builds muscle and grip strength as well as burns tons of extra calories. Now, contrary to popular belief, I'm not as badass as Jared Leto. I know, I was surprised too when I found out. It is what it is, whatever. So if I'm rock climbing, I usually do that indoor stuff, which trust me does the job. If you haven't tried it, you gotta. They're popping up all over the place, and they usually have walls for all kinds of skill levels, so don't be afraid if you've never done it before. But I'm warning you, you might fall in love with it. Leto's usual routine also includes strength training in the gym, and every good fitness routine should. By his typical look in between films, it seems he does a decent amount of calisthenics. I say this because he rarely has that bulky, muscular look going on. He's usually quite lean and toned with just enough muscle to acquire what some might say is the perfect sexy physique. The man crush is real with this one. When he's trying to bulk up for the Joker and Morbius, he takes a more bodybuilder's type of approach to his strength training. We're talking bench press, squats, pull-ups, shoulder presses, bicep curls, tricep extensions. I could list more, but the point is, there's nothing fancy going on here. This plan of attack is all about that progressive overload on the muscles to signal growth. I should also mention that he throws in yoga as well. Now, it's pretty common knowledge that getting a good stretch can help with flexibility, but most don't realize that it also helps with building strength. The more flexible you are, the greater range of motion you have to stimulate the muscles, meaning more stimulus for growth. But those muscles won't grow without the right amount of food, right? And when he's trying to bulk up, guy is eating every 2 hours to make sure he does. Leto has a naturally thin frame, and I would put him in the category of hard gainer. If that's you and it's hard for you to put on muscle, then eating every 2 to 3 hours could help you get in the calories that you need. Me, I don't have that problem. I can eat my daily calories and some in one sitting. I get fat. That's my problem. My point is that eating every 2 hours is a strategy that is needed for some people, but not everyone. So unless you are the hard gainer type, don't go shoveling food into your mouth every 2 hours just because you want to look like Jared Leto, unless you're trying to look like him here. But a good question to ask is, what is he eating? Well, whether it's every 2 hours to bulk up or on a more normal schedule, Jared has practiced a plant-based diet for over 20 years and is actually the sexiest vegan alive. No, not because of my man crush, because PETA said so in 2014, so you know it's true. But before you go and eliminate all animal products from your diet, understand that simply going vegan or vegetarian doesn't mean weight loss or that you're gonna end up looking like Jared Leto. It's still easy to eat too much food, and there's plenty of high-calorie pastries these days that can, again, turn you into Mark David Chapman from chapter 27. Make a choice to go plant-based for your own personal and or moral reasons. I personally don't eat many animal products myself, but like Leto, I practice balanced nutrition and a lifestyle with plenty of cardio and strength training. And if you do decide to go vegan or vegetarian, you might want to adopt his practice of supplementing with plant-based protein powders. It's a little harder to get your protein in eating just plant-based, and Leto knows that, especially when he's trying to pack on lean muscle. The other thing he doesn't consume is alcohol, or any drugs for that matter. I'm not here to judge your life habits, and I'm the last person to do so because, like Leto, I have a history of drug and alcohol abuse in my past. I'll save the details of my story for another video, but Jared has been sober for years, which gives him a bit of an advantage because alcohol has literally no nutritional value whatsoever. It is simply empty calories, and yes, those calories do count. Not only that, but we all know that after a night of drinking, we crave the junk food, and because we make the best decisions when we're drunk, we eat the junk food, and a lot of it. This is a terrible idea for fat loss in particular, for two reasons. A, you're more likely to consume way more calories, and B, the body perceives alcohol as a poison, meaning it will put all of its efforts into metabolizing all the alcohol before it even tries to take in the nutrients that you ate. In turn, it will store those calories as fat. It's basically a double whammy. So if you're on a fat loss journey, cutting back on the booze is a wise decision. Now we're gonna get into the stuff that most people overlook and probably will continue to do so even after hearing it here, or anywhere else for that matter. How does Jared stay that driven to move forward? How does he keep up with the energy it requires to maintain everything while not getting emotionally bogged down by the stress it can bring on? Well, he stays inspired, he gets ample sleep, and he practices meditation. Jared credits his continuous motivation to the inspiration brought on by his role models. Many people don't realize how important this is because one day you may feel amped to make a huge change in your life. You clean up the diet, you go to the gym all week, and before you know it, that initial spark has faded away. And the truth is, it probably will. So be ready for that. Whatever you need to do to stay inspired or passionate about transforming yourself or making any sort of change, find it. And when you do, latch onto it as tight as you can. Do whatever it takes to get excited about life. Leto also understands the importance of a little R&R. He values his sleep, making sure to get those 8 hours in for recovery and energy. And he also practices meditation, which can aid in re-energizing him emotionally and keep stress levels low. Meditation doesn't have to look like a Buddhist chanting with their eyes closed, and that's one way to go about it. But simple, quiet, and alone time where you just unplug from your normal day-to-day is sufficient enough, especially if you're new to the practice. Both ample sleep and meditation are known to keep cortisol levels down, and if you're trying to lose fat and or gain muscle, that's a very good thing. Trust me, everything else in your life will be much better if you don't skimp out on getting enough sleep and lowering that stress. We can all take a few pointers from Jared, but trying to adopt everything he does in his life can be a lot to bite off, especially for someone who might be new to the fitness lifestyle. It is something to strive for, however. So if you're trying to make a transformation yourself, start small and go from there. It probably took him a while to get to the levels he's at too, but with a little practice and consistency, maybe we can all be like Leto. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.